was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and they said, I just like your energy. You're just so calm. You're just so easygoing. And I took a I took a beat and I thought, that doesn't sound like me at all. I'm joking a little bit, but it's the reason I paused is because it's not how I naturally am. I'm naturally pretty intense. I've been called dramatic. I've been called intense more than once, and not in good ways. And I like to think of myself as passionate, and I think that passion is helpful. I think it comes out in my writing. I think it comes out in my speaking. I think people say to me like, "Well, I really feel supported by you, feel loved by you. I just really like your energy." And what they're talking about is how passionate I am. So how that shows up is in a therapy room or in a client coaching session. I can lovingly tell people the truth and do so in a way that's hard to hear, but accessible, because people know that I'm with them, I'm for them, because I demonstrate that I am for you and I will fight for you. I will take a stand for you, even if you're not willing or able to take a stand for yourself. I will do that. In fact, I had a client I've worked with for a long time, and I promised her I'd never stop fighting for her. And every once in a while, she'll be in a really bad spot, and she'll say, "Thank you for continuing to fight for me." And that's that passion coming out of it. The problem is that passion has in the past been reactive and argumentative and like snapping back at people and doing all those things. And that's not helpful. That's not how I want to be. What I've been able to do over time, and what my friend was seeing in me, and what they were talking about, was that they're not seeing that necessarily like a laid back personality. What they're seeing is my ability to emotionally regulate that comes from many years of hard work, right? And I'm trying to think about, do like naturally laid back people exist? Probably. I mean, naturally athletic people exist and naturally musical people exist. In my opinion, I think people can learn to play the sport, people can learn to play an instrument, but for some people, it's just easier. And so I imagine it's true with people who in terms of being emotionally calm. Think about my grandfather, who was like that. Although, you know what? I knew him, obviously, he was older when I knew him, and I didn't know him as a young man. And one of his friends what did they call him? Because he was bald when I knew him, but they said he had this really thick curly hair as a young man. They called him curly-haired and hot-headed. So maybe he was naturally intense and reactive too, and learned to be calm through his own work. I don't know, maybe. I'm getting at the fact that we live in this world that is so divisive, and there's so much conflict, and it seems like to the point where it's like hostility and conflict and violence seem to be just a part of human nature. It's hard to make the argument that that's not true based on our history. I'm recording this in January 2026, and everyone is pissed. Everyone is upset. Everyone is at somebody's throat. This is particularly true in the US right now under our current leadership, but it's also true around the world. Everybody's angry, and I think it's because everybody's scared. Everybody feels unsafe. Everybody feels attacked and violated, and like they're going to lose something, and so we react. So I certainly can't change the world, but I can change myself, right? There's a Rumi quote, Rumi the poet. I'm going to get this wrong, but it says something like, and this isn't how he says it, but this is how I hear it. Basically, when I was young and dumb, I tried to change the world. Now that I'm older and wiser, I'm simply trying to change myself. So that's what I'm getting at. The key to making the world a better place is for us to make ourselves better, one person at a time. And starting with being calm and not reactive is a great place to start. So what does that look like? That looks like being in a conversation and realizing that there's something going on. Like that the conversation has pushed a button for some reason, and something nasty is on the tip of my tongue. But having the ability to tap the brakes and say, "Oh, do I want to say that or not? Do I want to say that?" I love this. I love the little filter tool that goes like, "Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? And does this need to be said now?" If the answer to any of those three questions is no, Just keep your mouth shut, right? Just shut up. So yeah, I'm naturally pretty intense. There's definitely been times in my life when I've lost my temper and that anger has come out. And in a way that's unacceptable, yelling and banging around and all that. And it comes from the passion. I feel things very deeply. One of the things I've had to do is develop awareness of my emotional pattern, right? Notice the pattern of it, and see, and that only comes from paying attention, like really being mindful and paying attention to what's going on in me, like really asking the question, what am I feeling right now? What's going on with me right now? And that allows me to see the patterns. Like, for instance, when that person says that thing, when that person talks, I get angry. Or when anybody brings up that topic, I feel like you're resistant, whatever it is, right? And sort of noticing the patterns over time. Because here's the thing. Your system only brings up what you're ready to work on when you're ready to work on it. There's a lot going on in you that needs to be worked on, but your system's like, nope, not yet. We're going to keep that hidden away. I have no idea what the mechanism is for that, but I've just seen it a bajillion times. And so when we slow down, when we pay attention, we ask the questions, two things are going on. One is we don't react in the moment. And second is we create an inquiry for ourselves. So let's create some space for that to come up so that I can give it some time and attention and hopefully get some relief from it. Hopefully understand it in order to master it. Identify that trap so I don't step in it anymore. So I'm not holding myself up as an example. There's lots of people out there who are doing lots of good work. And it's great. We just need more people to do more work. For me, that work looked like therapy. I'm a therapist, but I've also been the recipient of therapy services. Lots, many hours. I've invested heavily in coaching. Worked with some of the best coaches in the world. Been super lucky. I'm really grateful to have had the opportunities to do that. Read a lot, put really good, useful stuff in my brain. I write a lot. I learn a lot about myself through writing, and I pay attention to what's going on with me. And also I have people in my life who I trust, who help me, who reflect back at me what I don't see. We are all imperfect witnesses of our own reality. So having people around us who are better witnesses and who love us enough to tell us the truth is super, super useful and powerful. So yeah, learning to pause between the stimulus and the response, deciding if I want to respond at all, because sometimes the next right thing is absolutely nothing at all. And I got some bad news for you. If you're looking for me to say, oh, here's an easy way to do this, it doesn't exist. I mean, maybe it does, I don't know, but I don't know what practice, baby. Practice. See, this is important because people think that emotional regulation is like a, what's the word? Like a natural personality trait. And maybe in a single-digit percentage of the population it is. But for most of us, particularly those of us who are creative and who are passionate, who are artistic and who are motivated and want to create stuff in the world, and want to be great parents, want to be great leaders, and want to build businesses and want to explore the world, and we want to do cool stuff in the world. That doesn't come from a place of that comes from passion, baby. Passion. And so we got to be careful with the other side of the coin, that we don't also be hotheads, right? So we can develop this emotional regulation. We can claim agency and autonomy and some level of power around our emotions, and we can work with them and not work against them. Let our emotions flow and not fight against them. Another conversation I was having yesterday was with somebody who was saying that they were saying that she'd been doing a lot of work on herself. She'd been with a new therapist who was really working it out, and she was like, I feel like I'm more anxious. And I said, no, you're not more anxious. Your system is just trusting you more, and you're trusting yourself more to let this stuff come up. And so you're being with this anxiety in a safer way because your system knows you can handle it, right? And it's just like the anxiety comes up and you know what to do now. I'm feeling anxious here. I'm feeling it in my body in this way. I'm going to cry a little bit. I'm going to feel a little bit angry, and then I'm going to ride the wave, and I'm going to be fine on the other side. Like, you know that now. So your system feels safe to let that anxiety come up. And the more it comes up and the more you sort of successfully ride the wave, the less impact it has on you. And you start to see it just like, oh, this is just something that happens to me. Sometimes I feel anxious. Sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I feel angry. It's just humanity. It's just about being human, right? So you're not stuck in this place of reactive behavior. If you have a reactive streak in you, if your partner gets frustrated with you because you mouth back at them, or maybe you're the person that starts it. Maybe you yell at your kids and you don't want to. I don't want to yell at my kid, you know. I don't want to yell at anybody except football teams. I'll yell at football teams. That's different. So if you're not naturally calm, whatever that is, there's hope. You can learn to emotionally regulate and be a calming force on the people around you. So you're not going to become less emotional. You're just going to become more in tune with your emotions and use them as a tool. Then your intensity and your passion becomes a benefit. Then you become one less angry person in the world. Now we got 8 billion more to work on, but we'll do it one at a time. Just like Rumi said, I'm not trying to change the world. I'm just trying to change myself. And I humbly offer to you, if you're interested, if you're willing, and if you hear anything about yourself in this content, you can be another person in the world who contributes to the solution and is therefore not part of the problem. So here's to you and me not being part of the problem. Here's to more patience, more tolerance, and just more love in the world.